I think it was done accessibly. It was done in a way which people could listen to quite easily without any sort of strain. And at the same time, it had our sort of bite underneath it. It had our heaviness lurking somewhere underneath it. And it was a good time for the band as well. We'd just been on tour and people knew about us. So it was just the right thing at the right time, I think.
Suddenly they sort of came to hear Killer Queen in the stage shows. But I mean, some of the other songs that we do are sort of more favourites, like Liar and Keep Yourself Alive and things. The kind of following that we built up because of our live shows, and they come to sort of see us on that sort of level, the earlier songs, the sort of live. But Killer Queen, I mean, I seem to remember that when we sort of introduce it, they go wild, and then we only do about a verse and a sort of chorus of it. It's the way we try and sort of put ourselves across. I mean, we don't sort of try and reproduce what we do in studios on the shows. It's just another sort of facet of us, actually.
I know everybody gets very embarrassed if you go back to the school days, but you're quite famous for your qualifications, so to speak. Can we hear where you went to school?
I went to, when I was a lad, I went to school at Hampton Grammar School, Middlesex, and I went to Imperial College London for a long, long time. So I'm very old. I'm about 43.
Rubbish. What were you reading at London?
I did a physics degree and then about 5 years of astronomy, research in astronomy.
This is Roger, and I was reading Superman comics most of the time. But
Obviously.
I started out doing dentistry, and I discovered I hated cutting up dead bodies. So I moved to biology, and I actually managed to struggle through a degree in biology. But really, I didn't intend at any time using it, because I couldn't bear the thought of being stuck in a laboratory for the rest of my life. But I was interested, and it was interesting up to a point.
And finally, Freddie, what about you?
I went through sort of art college. I went to Ealing College of Art, and did a sort of graphics and illustrating course for about 3.5 years, and I got my diploma in that. And that's it. While we were at sort of these various colleges, we were sort of, we were friends. I think, Roger and I, yes, Roger and I sort of shared a flat in Barnes, and so did Brian eventually. And we sort of met up, you know, and as we were in various other groups, sort of semi-pro. And it so happened that the group that these two were in, Brian and Roger, called Smile, happened to break up, and, you know, I saw an opportunity to sort of team up with them, and our ideas sort of seemed to blend, and we thought it'd be a wowie, you know, when we sort of put it together, and here we are. We formed Queen about 4 years ago.
I suppose in some ways we did from the first react against being manipulated, which was why we went through a long period of sorting things out. You know, we didn't sort of sign with the first shark that finned its way along the road, but we sort of set ourselves up fairly well, I think, and reasonably intelligent. We did used to watch groups. We had very definite ideas on who we liked. I think, in a sense, we all liked the Beatles, I think. I think we all liked, especially Jimi Hendrix.
Our audience is very strange. We're still trying to work out what it is ourselves, really. It's very mixed, I know that. If you looked at the Rainbow audiences particularly, it was anyone from about 18 to about, well, literally about 60, I think.
Well, younger than 18, yeah.
Perhaps younger than 18, yeah. But it's, 15 maybe. I think they all like us for different reasons, which we like, really. The younger people like us because it's an exciting act, and that's part of what we're about. We're out to make an impact and give people the kind of thrill that you get from seeing a really hard live act on stage. And a lot of other people like us because of the melody and harmony, etc., on the records, which they come to see us on stage. Yeah, we get a lot of mums and dads as well who say, "Oh yes, you've made us realise that pop music isn't all this, that, and the other," you know, which is nice.
That's one of the things that Killer Queen did, actually. That seemed to bring us on the last English tour. It seemed to bring the odd older people in. You know, I mean, I mean older. You know, there's a surprising amount of sort of even middle-aged married couples and things.
I know, I think
not the majority, you know.
So daughters were dragging their mums and dads over as well. So I mean, you'd see rows and rows of sort of girls and boys, and then the mums and dads sitting along with them, and that's great. That's great. I think it's like Brian says, we haven't quite worked out who. I mean, you couldn't label it at all. It is a very sort of wide cross section.
Okay, now I'd like you to listen to our latest piece of fabness on 45. It's called Now I'm